Madam President, I ask you to speak for up to 10 minutes, as if in morning business.
Without objection.
Thank you, Madam President. It's, I believe, day 42 since 41 members of the United States Senate have blocked, through filibuster, through obstructionism, through threat of tying the Senate up and shutting it down, basically, so that we've not been able to extend unemployment benefits to workers in Charlotte, Nashville, North Carolina, and Columbus and Cleveland, Ohio. It's unconscionable. It's unfair to those workers who have worked for 20 years and lost their jobs through no doing of their own. And it's bad economics. Senator McCain, presidential candidate McCain, as his economic advisor during the presidential race, Mark Zandi, said every dollar of unemployment benefits generates $1.60 in economic growth. And he examined various kinds of expenditures, everything from tax cuts to a whole bunch of other sort of government programs and what would stimulate the economy best. Nothing is stimulating to road construction, to small business tax breaks, all the kinds of things that we could do here for job growth. And he said that this is Republican John McCain, who voted against the unemployment extension. His economic advisor in the presidential race said the best stimulus to the economy, is unemployment benefits, because a dollar for every dollar that goes into the pocket of a worker in Lima or Gallipolis or Steubenville or Miamisburg, Ohio, every dollar that goes into an unemployed worker's pocket generates $1.60 in economic activity. That means they spend that dollar quickly because they need that money to pay their rent, to pay for the utilities, to buy groceries, to go to the drugstore, to do all the things, the necessities of life that are obviously so important now. In the Akron Beacon Journal said that the Summit County emergency cash assistance cases rose 27% from May 2009 to May 2010. Food stamp cases climbed 22% over the same period. So it's an economic question, to be sure, that extending unemployment benefits is the best thing for our economy. It's obviously a human question for all the problems that people face in our country from not being able to just simply provide for their families. And we can talk about these statistics. 90,000 Ohioans have lost their unemployment. It has seen their unemployment expire, and the 41 members of this body, 40 of them Republicans, have said no to extending these benefits. And we know that we know these numbers we see all the time. We're blinded sometimes by all the statistics and numbers. But I want to do, and I do many days, is put a human face on this and share what people in my state write to me, telling me about what these unemployment benefits mean to them. Lisa from Cuyahoga County, that's the Cleveland area, writes, "Please do not strand us out here on the sea of uncertainty, washed up on the shores of ruin." That statement may be dramatic, but it's how it feels out here. In my case, if I was guaranteed a 40-hour-a-week job working at a fast food restaurant, I'd take it in a heartbeat. I'm currently taking care of my elderly mother and college-age daughter and $213 a week after taxes. Do you know how far that goes? I have to pay rent, electric bills, put food on the table. I'm a single mother. How am I supposed to live? I sit in a bedroom away from my mother and daughter, and I cry because I'm afraid I failed my family and we're headed for ruin. We already lost the family home due to unscrupulous lenders. Now I'm one rent check away from being homeless. Please, I'm begging you to be my voice and the voice of the unemployed in Washington. I mean, these are not people, these are people that want to work. Some of my colleagues, some of the 41 that vote no consistently, we've tried this week after week after week to bring this to a vote. Some of them seem to think unemployment is welfare. It's not welfare. It's people that have worked. Many of the letters I get are people that worked in the same job for 20 or 30 years and lost that job and are trying to find work, and they're required to, under the law, to draw unemployment benefits. You're required to continue to look for work. You send out resumes, you make visits to the plant or to the office or to the restaurant to try to get a job. And so often in every one of these workers, they paid in. This is not welfare. This is insurance. Every one of these workers paid into the unemployment insurance fund. And now when they're unemployed, they're deserving of collecting on their insurance, if you will. Rebecca from Lorain County, that's the county I live in west of Cleveland. She works for Catholic Charities helping the unemployed. My job is trying to find resources for the people in need, she writes. Every day I'm deluged with requests for rental and mortgage assistance by many who have exhausted their unemployment benefits and haven't been able to find employment. One gentleman in particular is an unemployed steelworker of over 25 years who's raising a 2-year-old son by himself. His home is about to be foreclosed on and his employment benefits have run out. What else can he do? What can I do to assist him? You know, I think, Madam President, I look across the aisle when we're all in here, and I think 41 people voted against the extension of unemployment benefits. And I think all of us are a bit too isolated in these jobs. I don't think we're paid well. We get a lot of attention. We all have good staffs, fairly large staffs of 40, 50, 60 people, both in Washington and our states, and me in Columbus, Cleveland, Cincinnati, and Lorain. And I don't know that we talk to enough people who really have been in the situation that she writes about this steelworker. 25 years, he's raising a 2-year-old son by himself. The lady Lisa from Cuyahoga County is taking care of an elderly mother and college-age daughter. She's already lost her home. And I know empathy is in short supply in this world, and particularly in the United States Senate. But I just wish that each of us would sit down, would read these letters, but would sit down and talk to somebody like Lisa, who first she lost her job, then she lost her health care. And then she's got to explain to her daughter that, well, honey, we're not going to be able to stay in this house much longer because we can't afford the rent, or we got foreclosed on. Well, Mom, where are we going to live? Well, I don't know yet. Well, am I going to get to go to the same grade school I go to now? Well, I don't know yet, honey, if that's going to happen. Well, how are we going to move? We don't have a car anymore. How are we going to move our stuff? Well, I don't know that. We have to figure that out. I mean, these kinds of questions that people that dress like this don't answer very often, don't have to answer, aren't faced with. And I think of my 41 colleagues would sit down and listen to people that deal with these problems, that experience these problems. I think it might be a different situation. Last letter I'll read, Madam President. It's Marjorie from Summit County. That's Akron area. I've been unemployed since January. My husband lost his job right before that. We're both college graduates. My husband has a master's degree. We're both 61. Employers aren't hiring us because we're not the right fit for the position, because we're either overqualified or we're too old. Our house is on the market because we're reaching a point where we'll be unable to make mortgage payments. We've always done the right thing, raising our children and being responsible citizens. Now we can't even keep a roof over our heads. Something's not right when people make generalizations, as they're doing now, about people like us who want to work, who want to take care of themselves, who are tired of being shunned because we are one of those people, she writes. We do not like the deficit growth, but we paid our taxes. We didn't create this recession. Please share our story with those who are in a position to at least help us with something. I mean, again, these are people. I mean, I don't know Marjorie, but I got this letter from her, and I know that she's, from every indication, she and her husband have worked their whole lives. They're highly educated, both have college degrees. One has a master's degree. They're not people that are unmotivated. They've lived in this house a long time. They don't want to sell their house, but they don't have much choice. And why can't 60 of us, with these sometimes dysfunctional Senate rules, why can't 60 of us, just one person from the other side of the aisle, one Republican, join us in voting? Just a couple of them come over here and vote for this so we can get the 60 votes we need, so we can at least bring something to their lives. They're going to get only $300 a week in unemployment benefits. They've paid into this fund, most of these people, for 10 or 20 or 30 years, never collecting any. But they're only going to get $300 a week. They're not going to be rich. It's not so much money that they're going to think, I don't want to bother going to work. I'm not going to look for a job. They have to keep looking for a job under this. And Madam President, it's the right thing to do morally. It's the right thing to do because of the values we hold dear in this country. It's the right thing to do for economic reasons. That is, as Senator McCain's chief economic advisor in his presidential race said, that nothing stimulates the economy more than putting this money into the community in Ravenna or Mansfield or Warren or Fenley, and getting this generation of economic activity which will help to create more jobs and help to get us out of this recession. I implore again my colleagues to support the extension of unemployment benefits. And Madam President, I yield the floor and I suggest the absence of quorum.